What are our biggest what ifs in wrestling? Who wants to kick this off?
Ooh,
I
I'll
got
kick
like
it off.
5, but
I got
over.
7.
I got 6.
This one is actually what sparked it off because I was, I watched Chris Van Vliet's
Right.
podcasts and interviews, and he said this guy is one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling, and I agreed because he was supposed to be he was on trajectory to be really good, and then one thing just shot it all down, and that's Mr. Kennedy.
Ooh, yeah.
Mr. Kennedy was on his way to being a superstar in the WWE, and then one poor interaction with Randy Orton shot it all down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like he was Mr. Money in the Bank. He was supposed to win it, and I
can still hear that Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy. His gimmick worked well, and I'm like It was like he was on his path to stardom.
What happened?
From what I understand, there was a match. It was a multi-man match. I remember it vividly because, like, I believe it was the Nuggets screwed them out of a venue. They changed it at the last second, so they couldn't have Raw or SmackDown or whatever. I think it was Raw in Denver. So they had to hurry up and move, and they switched to like LA.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a multi-man match where the bad guys were in Nuggets jerseys and all the faces were in Lakers jerseys.
I remember that. I remember John Cena wrestling and
they squashed them. Well, Mr. Kennedy did something, and I think he hurt Randy Orton.
Okay.
And it pissed off Randy, and he went to management, and they basically killed his push.
Right.
From that point on.
That sucks. Yeah, I actually just seen recently, Randy Orton has now been in the WWE longer than he wasn't. Like, he was like 22 when he came into WWE.
Yeah.
He's now been in the WWE for 23 years. That's pretty impressive.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, so that sucks, because I really liked Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
You want me to just go through my whole list?
You want to just do one apiece?
Yeah, let's do one apiece.
Okay. All right.
Because there's probably some repeats, so I don't want to take ones off of y'all.
I'll go next. This always bugged me, but what if Sandow cashed in successfully during his feud with Cody Rhodes?
That is a big what if.
Remember that when we threw the Money in the Bank and the you could have created 2 stars.
Yeah.
Right then and there.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know what he did to piss them off.
Sandow?
Yeah,
I don't know, but
really good.
He was so over too. So over. Like,
he was, and he did it multiple times.
Right.
Like when he was the heel, when he was the savior of the masses or whatever. So he was great, and he got over well as a heel.
Yeah.
When he became Mizdow.
That was great.
Yeah. Oh, that was funny.
He got himself over so much.
Yeah.
But I think that goes back to that whole, if Vince doesn't want you to get over. But it seemed like they were pushing him.
Yeah. And
like Zack Ryder, for instance.
Yeah.
They were just like, screw you, we're not doing anything with you. But Sandow, they're like, okay, you're good enough. Let's use you.
Right.
And then they just killed it.
Yeah.
Like, I think if he would have cashed in at that moment, successfully, I'm like, you could have built 2 stars out of him and Cody.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
That's my what if.
What if Vince didn't win the steroid trial?
Okay. What do you think that would have changed?
Well, at that time, WWE was in a bad spot anyway.
Right.
During the mid-90s, the roster was, everyone was, actually a lot of people kind of grew out of it at that time. And if he didn't, like, what would have happened to the company?
You think WCW would have won?
They would have took a big jump even more.
No.
But
you say no?
No.
They probably would have self-destruct a little later after 2001, I think.
No, they wouldn't have.
Why not?
Because they let the inmates run the asylum.
Well,
they were always going to fail. As soon as they started giving creative rights to wrestlers, they were going to fail. When the guy in charge has no ability to tell you no as a wrestler, they're going to fail.
But if they don't have WWE as competition.
Yeah, the only competition would have been around was ECW.
Yeah.
Then we would have had no wrestling industry.
Okay.
because you would have had these guys that are so big where there's no, oh, I can go somewhere else. It's either you do what I say or your company's going to fail.
Right.
Like, no, it would have been destroyed.
Okay. All right, that was the one to add things. Okay, you want to go to your next one?
Yeah, I got all wrestlers. I just got what ifs and like that, wrestlers that could have been great, but for one reason or another,
shoot off another
isn't.
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream.
That is on mine. I said, what if Velveteen's Dream's legal troubles never happened? That is on mine.
Velveteen Dream is one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling.
Instantly when I thought of it, I was like, oh, Velveteen. I was like, he could have been amazing.
Oh, he could have been.
And he was exonerated of he was found not guilty.
Yeah, but then he also got charged with like DUI or something like that.
Yeah, I don't care about them. Jake
Then
got a whole bunch of them.
Then he started going on
Rant.
YouTube and Twitter and doing all these crazy rants. Like, if he would have just let it play out, things might have cleared up for him. But he just kept doing stuff, and I'm like, man, he could have been great.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I definitely had that on there. I definitely got it on there, I should say.
What's next for you?
Me, I have. What if Wade Barrett's career wasn't cut short by injuries? I thought Wade Barrett was one of the best heels. I enjoyed the hell out of the Barrett barrage and all that.
Yeah, I thought,
but then it was,
a pretty good wrestler.
Obviously cut short by injuries. I just want to know how high could he have really gone?
Right.
And obviously to me, you had Del Rio as champion. I thought Barrett was significantly better.
Not in the ring. Is they ring worker?
I think Del Rio's a better
in ring. Del Rio's but Barrett was a way better character.
Oh, I agree.
Way more charismatic.
I did like Ricardo though. Like
Ricardo made with Del Rio.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah. Del Rio's a great in-ring worker, but Barrett was a good worker too.
He was good.
Solid worker too.
He was a good worker. But
if we're just talking about just pure personality, Del Rio was boring, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what I got.
Well, even though this already happened at the Royal Rumble this year, but what if Cena would have went heel at 29? When he should have done it.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania 29, even though he just did it this year, but he should have did it at WrestleMania 29.
Yeah, that's when he said they had like all the extra music.
Yeah.
And all that. And
they said they was ready to, and then Vince just changed his mind.
Of course. But I mean, obviously the children would have been devastated, but at that time, we were in our mid-20s, early 30s, maybe, it would have been hilarious. But, but just to see how upset the kids would have been. But that was the perfect moment to do it.
Yeah, it was.
Because that WrestleMania wasn't even that great anyway. It was okay, if I recall. The card, I think it was CM Punk versus Undertaker, that card, and I think it was Lesnar and Triple H, but that's all I really remember from that card. And then obviously the Rock Cena too, but that was the perfect moment.
Yeah, it was.
It was, but yeah, that was my second one.
All right. My next wrestler that I think is a big what if, Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah, he had the look.
He had the look.
Yeah.
He could wrestle.
Yeah.
Like, he could have been great.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
He could have been an all-time great.
Was he juicing? I
don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, that generation, pretty much all of them were.
Yeah.
My next one is one of my favorite wrestlers, and I was super excited when he came to WWE, and they tried to push him, but what if Finn Balor didn't get injured the night he won the Universal Championship?
Oh, that's a big what if.
Yeah.
Because he has never recovered from that.
No, his momentum was crazy at the time. And, I just think he would still be in the main event picture. I think he'd be up there with Seth.
Yeah. I agree.
So,
which is a shame because Seth had a major injury too, and it didn't hurt him.
Yeah, but Seth wasn't right after winning the title.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
But for some reason, his injury didn't hurt him, but Finn's hurt his. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah. What else you got?
What if Booker T would have won at WrestleMania 19 when he should have won?
He should have won.
Against
Triple
H. Yeah.
He should have won.
Yeah.
That bullshit ass one.
I think about like all the stuff he was like doing, and I'm like, how did he not get pushed to this guy? Like, even like the grocery store fight with him and Stone Cold, like that's legendary. Like,
yes,
how was he not pushed to this guy?
Yeah,
you know?
all the Gold Dust skits at the hotels and just all that goofy stuff and just
I agree.
Yeah, he could have been so.
Especially the stuff Vince was having Triple H say and all that. You people and you know,
yeah,
horrible.
That was Triple H with just the handlebar mustache.
Running with Flair.
Triple H. But what you got, Moot?
Next wrestler, Monty Brown.
I don't know who that is.
I about to say I don't either.
That's he's a wrestler. He was big in TNA. Black guy. He played for like the Buffalo Bills at one point in time, but he used to. Do you know the move to pounce?
Yeah.
He made it popular.
Dude, I remember when I first started wrestling, they was like, you had to use the pounce. And I'm like, no.
like the pounce was made because he called himself the alpha male. And he was like, I'm the.
Okay, yeah. This dude?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember him now. Yeah.
He actually went to the WWE for a quick, brief second. He was with the WWE's version of ECW.
Yeah.
When they did that rebrand. He was named Marcus Corvon, I think.
Yeah.
But he left because I
remember that picture right there.
His sister passed and he went and took to take care of her kids or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I get why he left.
Right.
But he just had intensity and he reminds me of Braun Breaker now.
Okay.
Like just an intensity to him and the pounce. When he used to give people the pounce, it looked like he was fucking them up, especially in the little 6-sided ring at TNA. Oh, he used to fuck people up with that pounce. And I thought he was just so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he played. He was in the NFL for a few years. I think it was for the Bills.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, Bills and the Patriots.
Yeah,
Bums Mafia.
Yeah, but yeah, he was. I really liked Monty Brown. Monty Brown was really good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't. Once I seen the picture, I was like, yeah, I remember him now. But all right, I got and I just think that the matches that would have been held, I feel like we missed out on. What if AJ Lee didn't retire early?
Man, that would have been great.
Her versus the 4 horsewomen. I think that would have the matches we would have got.
Great matches
would have been amazing.
Great matches.
You know? So that instantly, I'm like, man, I was like, that would have been just so dope. Even like if she was still wrestling today, like you got Bianca, Rhea, and it would have just.
Yeah,
we would have had just some amazing matches with her.
Yes.
So.
Yes, that's definitely up there with good what if there.
Yeah. What you got, Tim?
What if Tony Schiavone never said the Mick Foley cheap shot? That's not going to when he had the title match against The Rock
when they spoiled it.
Yeah,
caused everyone to change the channel.
Yep.
That's a good question. I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah.
That's actually a good to think about.
That is
really good.
That is definitely something to think about.
Yeah,
because that's when their 83-week streak ended.
Yeah. Again, like you said, self-destruct.
Yeah.
You know, but because it wasn't Bischoff the one that told him to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Bischoff the one told him to say it, but, you know, he said, that's not going to put no butts in the seats, and everyone turned over.
Everyone switched. That's something to really think about.
Yeah, like, I always think it's crazy how, like, they let Stone Cold go when he was stunning Steve, and it's crazy how like Stone Cold and Mick Foley were like one of the main reasons why they triumphed over WCW. You know what I mean? Always with the self-destructive.
Well, don't forget they had the Undertaker.
Yeah, but when he was Mean Mark.
Yeah,
Mean Mark or something.
They had Triple H.
Terrorizing.
Like
terrible.
That is a terrible name.
Terrible name.
But he also went by something else because he was teaming with William Regal for a little.
Oh, was he?
Before he went over, that's when he was like Jean-Paul Levesque. He was going by like
his name.
His name.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had several stars that was in WCW before they became big
Yeah.
Mhm.
in WWE. And they just let them go.
Okay. The creativity at that time was so bad for WCW. Like
Creativity for everyone.
Yeah,
Who
that's
came
true.
up with Isaac Yankem?
Jerry Lawler's dentist.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
That was
Earthquake
terrible.
when he was the Shark in WCW. He was a Shark. That was awful.
Shockmaster.
Shockmaster was terrible.
That's still one of the funniest debuts of all
Yeah.
time. He dropped his helmet and everything.
So bad.
Glitter on a stormtrooper helmet. Oh, that is terrible.
Yeah. There were some bad gimmicks, man.
Yeah.
The Oddities was terrible.
The Oddities was
It was
bad.
bad. And Earthquake was in that.
Yeah, he was
Golga.
Golga.
Like
Was it? You just went to him, right?
yeah.
So Malik.
Elijah Burke.
I don't know who that is.
Why am I blanking on?
That's
his
the
name?
black guy
I
that
know the name.
he was with Sylvester Terkay. Very charismatic.
Yes. Did he become a manager? Like after a while? For
He was a
someone else?
manager for a little bit.
Yeah.
He went to TNA, had a decent run, but he was so charismatic.
This is one of my favorite gifs, by the way. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name, but yeah.
Yeah, like he was so charismatic.
beast.
He was talented in the ring. He had a good look. Like because when he first debuted, he was Sylvester Terkay's mouthpiece.
Right.
He didn't wrestle. And then when they split him and Sylvester up, who I actually was trained in
I remember him as the Pope.
the Pope,
That's what
the Black Pope in TNA.
Yep.
But he was Sylvester Terkay was my wrestling coach when I did MMA
Oh, okay.
because he was a national champion wrestler he would have been 2-time national champion wrestler if he didn't lose to Kurt Angle one year. But that's a big mean man. But anyway, back to Elijah Burke. He was just so talented.
He was.
So charismatic, so good in the ring, 4 up on the wrist because it's technically 4 upside your head, not 5,
Yeah.
like how Red Fox used to say.
Yeah.
But he was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, when you said the name, I'm like, and then I'm like, so I looked at the picture, I'm like, the Pope. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, he was a beast. So yeah, I agree 100%. Well, my next one would have been Velveteen Dream, so I'll go to my last one. What if Enzo Amore didn't have locker room heat?
They still would have been popular, but
Yeah.
I think the Miz exposed them.
Well, yeah, but that was because of the heat in the locker room.
But even if he didn't have the heat, as soon as he went up against someone like the Miz, he'd have gotten exposed.
the reason the Miz killed him like that is because of the
heat.
locker room heat. They was like, you gotta just kill this dude off.
Yeah.
Like, if he didn't, what would they have been, or even him by himself? What could he have, done? They were over.
They were extremely over. But I'm saying I still think if he would have stayed at the level he was at, he'd have been fine.
Right.
But as soon as he started climbing up the card and had to go toe to toe on the mic with a Miz, with a Cena, he'd have gotten exposed and then he would have went back down. That's just my opinion.
I just think, and the reason I put this, I think if he would have climbed and had to do that, they would have helped him out more.
Okay.
Than the Miz just completely annihilating him and leaving him out to dry. You know what I mean? Because that was his essentially buck breaking. Like,
Right.
like you don't belong here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like that was like his kill off. Like, all right, you're done. Like everyone's sick of you. Like I think so for instance, I watched Cena talk one day, and they was talking about, remember The Rock wrote his promo. And Cena pointed it out, and Cena was like, that was completely unprofessional of me. I should not have done that. He was like, when we're out there, I'm supposed to be helping you.
Right.
And I think if Enzo didn't have that heat, they would have helped him more
Right.
just to kill him. You know what I'm saying? So, and honestly, I don't think I don't think he was able to prepare for the Miz. Like, because they probably like they was like, man, it's just gonna shoot on him, and he's thinking like, oh, it's just gonna be this cute little promo, like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I mean, Tiffany just did it with Charlotte, a few weeks ago. It happened with them, like Charlotte tried to shoot on her, and Tiffany shot back, and hurried up and got out the ring. I just think some people can hold their own, some people can't,
Yeah.
and I just think he would have had more help.
Right.
That's it.
My last one is, what if Sable never powerbomb Mark Mara? Killed his whole push. Killed his career.
Yeah, but he had a ceiling. So it's not like he was on the road to stardom.
I mean,
Mark Mara wasn't. Mark Mara was never going to be that guy.
He could have been
But-
the heel guy in WWE at that time.
But her doing that made her a star.
Yeah.
So if she didn't do that, her ceiling would have been lower.
Right. And then we don't get her and Brock Lesnar.
Sure.
Sure.
I don't see how that's relevant to anything.
It's
Sure.
not at all.
But I definitely killed his career.
It definitely killed his career, but I still don't believe his career would have gone much higher than a mid card anyway. Because he was limited on the mic. He wasn't that great in the ring.
Well, he'd have been big for the Brawl for All. Because he was a boxer, right? He was an actual boxer, if I recall. He had boxing experience.
I don't know, maybe, but the Brawl for All was a complete shit show.
Yeah.
Although I did like seeing Bradshaw getting knocked out.
Well, that was the whole purpose of it.
That was the whole point of it.
Because Bradshaw was horrible.
Because Bradshaw was a piece of shit.
Yes, he is.
I got 2 left.
Okay.
One is Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Because what they did to him in WWE was just a travesty.
Yeah, I agree.
And now we don't know if he's coming back to AEW because of his health issues.
And now he's no longer even the most popular Keith Lee.
I guess that's also true as well.
Yeah.
He did put on some good matches in AEW.
He was a beast.
He is so good, so
Beast.
charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, a guy that big moving like he does,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's just a spectacle.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's going to ever come back.
right.
Like someone just tweeted at him like, "Hey, hope you're doing well. Love to see you back in the ring." And his response was something to the likes of, maybe it'll happen. I'm not entirely sure.
Mm-hmm.
We can hope for the best type thing.
Right.
But I'm like, man, because he is so talented,
Right.
so talented. And I would love to have seen him back in the ring.
Yeah.
But-
yeah, his tag team with Swerve was great.
Yeah, that tag team
That
was
was
great.
a dope tag team.
And just the matches that I'm coming up in my head that he can have. Just imagine him and Brody King.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an incredible match.
Mm-hmm.
Him versus Takeshita.
Yeah.
Like these can be some incredible matches, and I'm just hoping he is able to allow me to remove him as a what if.
Yeah.
I hope he gets healthy and he's able to come back and he can be removed as a what if.
You know who I just thought about as a what if? And I think in WWE he had a ceiling and he was never going to break through that ceiling. But if he was around like now for like AEW, I think he'd be putting on excellent matches. Tyson Kidd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
He was never going to break through the WWE ceiling.
Yeah.
But the matches he could put on in AEW
Oh.
would be
Mhm.
amazing.
Oh my goodness.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
he wasn't on my list, but I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, Tyson Kidd's so good. That tag team with him and Cesaro
Oh
is
yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
My last one is Jason Jordan.
That's
I-
when neck they had her.
Kurt Angle's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what his ceiling would have been. So don't get me wrong. I'm not
Why
saying
did they make him Kurt Angle's son? Why not Chad Gable?
They-
He's right
Right.
there.
I think they did it literally to swerve because everyone was saying it's Chad.
Yeah. Oh.
But I don't know what his ceiling would have been. But I just don't like that we never got a chance to find out.
Yeah. and now he like comes out to like break up fighters, and he be getting like pushed off, and I'm like, he's bigger than them. Like,
but yeah, he's apparently a producer backstage, and he's done some of the best.
Yeah.
Like he's been the one in charge of some of these great matches that's been going on.
Oh, work.
Yeah.
So he's doing great work, and I'm happy for him. But I just think he could have been.
Mhm.
I would have been intrigued to see where he could have gone.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I got.
I had one more quick one just because I'm sitting there thinking about it, and since he's from Pittsburgh, what if Corey Graves didn't get hurt?
Yeah.
I loved Corey Graves' work with his little stay down.
Yeah.
You know? So, that's something
I would like to see where he could have gone as well.
Right.